disaster must come. At best, only postponed. Shaolin Kung Fu, to survive, must now be taught to more young men.
Really, bro? You're intro today?
I lost my voice as soon as I got ready to say welcome. My voice just went away. I had to get us up. All right, here we go.
Professionalism has gone out the window.
That's right. We ain't editing nothing. Welcome once again to another episode of Fists, Kicks, and Flicks, the podcast about martial arts, movies, and life. I am one of your hosts, Eugene Plowden, and with me as always, my podcast partners, Joe Harley and Angel Diaz. What's up, fellas?
What's going on?
What's happening?
I want you to know if this is your first time with us, we are man. Take over, Joe. I can't talk.
We are part of the Martial Arts Inner Network. On Mondays, you can get raw with Mimi and Lump. Tuesdays, CTE, Chris, Travis,
you can get raw with Mimi and Lump.
You get it, you watch it, you listen to it, however you want to do it, man. Okay?
All right, keep going. My bad.
Wednesdays is us, Fist, Kicks, and Flicks. And on Thursdays, you can get the inside scoop with Jeff and Alex. Fellas, it's showtime. I don't care.
For more information, you can check us out on all of our social media platforms. Just look for the Martial Arts Internet Network on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. Fellas, it's showtime. What's up, guys?
Oh, obviously, we are all over the place today because,
yeah, man,
it's just how it goes. We come in hot and we're going to finish strong. That's all that matters.
Hold on, Joe. Before we get to your weekend, I want to start with Angel. Angel, how was your weekend?
Yo, I'm going to be real with you, bro. Last week, I had a terrible week. My weekend was good. I went and did karate, but I'm just going to put this out there. So for the people that didn't know, last week I couldn't show up because I just had to get some stuff done for work. For you guys that don't know, I am a school teacher. But let me just tell you guys really quick what ended up happening to me. So I work overtime, right, for my job. And for me to work overtime, I have to go to the public library and go tutor expelled students. On a Wednesday, I go and this woman is cussing me out because I'm in a parking spot. And I'm like, what is your problem? What's your issue? She giving me the middle finger, whatever. Now, I'm technically on the job. I'm still on the clock because I don't get off till 4. So I'm like, all right. I'm just going to go ask her how her day is, but I'm going to be nice, respectful. Because, she's an older woman, probably in her 70s, 80s. I go over to her. She starts cussing me out, telling me to go F myself, F you this, F you that. And tell me why she calls me the N-word and then calls me the S-word for Hispanics. And I was just like, wow. That's
she didn't know which one you were?
She said
which
both.
one?
Yeah, she said both. So I'm like,
she couldn't decide?
So I'm like, yo, what is wrong with
you? What are those dark-skinned people? What the hell is that?
Exactly.
Lady, figure it out.
Mind you, I have my students with me and they're watching this. So I end up I took down her information, called the cops, whatever. The next day I had to go because I do overtime every day. I go the next day. She said the same thing to me again.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, yo, I'm about to damn near lose my job right now because I'm being so professional. But man, this is crazy. So I call the cops. They rush over there. She's cursing out the cops. She's telling the cops, to go F their mothers. They should have had an abortion, all this other stuff. And I'm like, man, this woman's old.
Was she drunk or something?
No, that's her, apparently.
Wow.
Then I guess that morning she got thrown out of the mayor's office because she tried to beat him up. Then I guess then that happened. These cops get there, and one of the cops is another, Hispanic male. She called both of us the S words again. And I was like, yo, man, I can't keep dealing with this. This is just crazy.
This lady's off the rails.
Wait a minute. So she works at the library?
No, she doesn't. She just acts like she lives there. And then to top it all off, she was driving an unregistered car.
Wow. Okay.
So last week, I was like, for the people that don't know, we have our own group chat. I was in and out of the group chat. Man, my week last week was just hell. So I'm so glad to get on with you guys. Moral of the story, people, Like don't do these hate crimes. Like, we are better than that. Like, it's sad.
Yeah, that could have been worse. I mean, because you could have been crazy, like, and literally.
Listen, I'm telling you, man. If I wasn't on my job, I would have said a little bit of other stuff that probably wouldn't have gone over well. Because I don't play that, bro. But besides that, man, I'm ready to have a good week. I'm ready to talk about this crappy ass movie, and we just laugh and have some fun. That's what I'm ready for.
All right, Joe. Now I put you second on purpose, man, because you went to support one of our colleagues here on the Martial Arts Internet. Not only one of our colleagues, but one of our podcast partners for the Martial Arts Internet Network. Mike Gibbs. He made his debut as a professional wrestler. How was it?
It was fun. I mean, I wish I would have got a little more of Mike. He had a fun intro. His name is G Money. Mm-hmm. He comes in as the richest man in the arena. That's how they introduced him. He had
the richest man in the arena. That's funny.
Yep. And he walked in as a heel with some money in his hands, and he was showing it to everybody and taking it. And
taking it.
Yeah, he was like showing it to people like he was gonna give it to them, and then taking it back. So he was playing his part. He had a green outfit on with money all over it, and his match was a battle royale. So literally, he was the last one called in, and then they called one more like special guest in, and then once that kid got in there, 24 karat gold, like there were 18 of them in there, 16 of them, something like that. Like they got going. Mike was punching people, getting punched. He got choked on the rope. So he was in there for a good 3 minutes or so. And then his a team that he was supposed to be working with, 616, tossed him out. They put him on the side, and then he tried to pay him to get back in, and they punched him out, and he went rolling. And that was the end of G Money for the night.
That's interesting. That's pretty interesting you say that, because you said that the last entrance to this battle royale was someone named 24 Karat Gold, and Mike's name was.
He's one of their top guys. He's another heel.
I'm surprised. I'm surprised him and Mike weren't together.
They could have been
in 24 Karat Gold. I'm gonna ask Mike about that when I talk to him.
So when I talked to Mike before, he told me he was gonna be in and out pretty quick. So I was kind of ready for it. And then he told me he's going to be a referee for the rest of the night. So he was reffing some of the matches. And he got involved in one of the matches when he was refereeing. He got knocked out. And
it's good he's enjoying himself and having fun doing that.
He's only been doing this for 30 days. And he's, he got put on the card pretty quick. So got to give him props for that.
Yeah. Back in the 90s, I used to tell Mike all the time, like, me and him should have been a tag team. Malcolm Monroe used to always try and get me to wrestle, man. But I just never, I knew what that life was like, man. Like just being around the wrestlers and helping out with Malcolm's organization. And I did not want that for myself. Like I don't care what nobody says. I saw how beat up those wrestlers are. Their bodies are, tore up. Not only that, their face also, their foreheads. I mean, they put themselves through some shit. And I did not want that for myself. I didn't want to be 45 and back problems and hip problems and knee problems and all of that stuff, So, props to Mike for getting out there and doing it. Now, I'm not going to say that I might not participate one day in something. I might be able to be talked into something as a manager or something, or maybe in a tag team.
I think the manager role's where it's at.
I think that would be fun. I can do it. I think I could be, but I would want to be a heel. I don't want to be a face. I would want to be a heel, and not one of the normal cool heels. Because a lot of times people want to be cool heels nowadays. I would want people to be upset with me. I think that would be cool.
I feel like you got this like little evil side of you that you just like to like explore sometimes.
Oh yeah, I do. My frat brothers call me maniacal. That was my line name that they ended up giving me, maniacal. So yeah, something like that. So my weekend was not bad. Melissa tried to she did. She put together a little surprise dinner for me for the opening of the dojo. She put something together, reached out to a couple of people. Unfortunately, it was a bad weekend for a lot of my friends. Everybody had things to do. Actually, I did also, she ended up getting me because she ended up telling me that her family was having a dinner that she wanted me to go to, and she wanted to introduce me there. So I had to put my plans on hold for that because I was thinking that was, what was going on. And it was just a nice little dinner that we had for the opening of the dojo, so that was nice. And then we had something weird happen. She has vertigo. It doesn't happen all the time. And this was the first time I've ever, been around someone who is experiencing vertigo. So it was real weird. Have you guys ever been around someone who has vertigo or is going through an episode?
Yes.
Okay. So Angel, so what it's like, she woke up at 3:00 in the morning. She woke up and, I was next to her. So she woke me up and she was asking for help. She's like, help me. And I'm like, what's going on? What's wrong? I didn't know what was going on. I thought she was having a bad dream. And then she sat up and she said everything was spinning. The whole room was just spinning. And then when it finally stopped spinning, everything was at an angle. So she had a rough time Sunday night into Monday. And that, it freaked me out because I had never seen anybody have that experience. I know I feel like that when I get on a roller coaster and I have a little bit of vertigo when I get off. So I don't like getting on a roller coaster or anything that goes high, spinning around and upside down. Because I know when I get off, I get sick. So that's kind of like what she's experiencing, but, without being on the ride. So she said she hadn't had an episode like that in about 3 years or so. But man, that was scary to me and for her also.
I bet.
Yeah. So, but other than that, man, I had a pretty cool weekend, pretty chill. After the dinner, me and her went out to a bar, just hung out a little bit more. And then, came home and I watched this movie. So let's talk about it. Kill Bill. Joe, I am on Angel's side. I did not like this movie at all. Actually, I told you I saw it back in the day, and I fell asleep on it back in the day, the first time I saw it. And I remember I didn't really care for it. So even though I suggested it this time, because I really wanted to watch the movie, because everybody always talks about it, and when people find out I'm a martial artist, they always say, "Oh, I know you like Kill Bill," and I'm like, "No, why do you think that? I don't like it at all." But now, I really don't like it now. So, Joe, let's talk about this movie, man. Go ahead, you lead this since you are the one who loves this movie.
I do enjoy this movie a lot.
Go ahead.
The few things about this movie, I don't think you necessarily have to be a karate fan, a martial arts fan.
Nah.
I think you got to be more of a fan of old kung fu, because this is set up in an old kung fu style.
Mm-hmm. Which I didn't mind. I didn't mind that.
Yeah, with a Quentin Tarantino twist.
That's what I minded. So,
and that's the problem, because a lot of people
yes
are either you can take Quentin Tarantino or you just don't care. And I love him. I don't think there's a movie I really dislike. So,
yeah, I'm not really a fan of Quentin Tarantino's the way he produces a movie, the way he puts the movie together, the way he edits it, because you really have to pay attention to the movie, because, or else you're going to be lost. Because it took me a while to like Pulp Fiction. I didn't like Pulp Fiction the first time I saw it. I had to watch Pulp Fiction. I'm not lying, at least 4 or 5 times before I got it and understood it.
And as a Tarantino lover, I tell everyone that asks me about, like, if I want to get into Quentin Tarantino, if you watch Pulp Fiction and you don't like it, don't bother with any of his other movies. Because you're probably not going to like them. Now, my wife is not a big fan, but there's 2 movies that she can watch and they don't have the full Tarantino to them. So, there are a couple of his movies that are a little less Tarantino, but most of them, they're out there. They're crazy, and they just, he did that movie, and this is one of them. So the basic review, the synopsis of this movie is you have the main character, which now I'm trying to think, because they bleeped her name out at the beginning, and there is a point where they only refer to her as the bride and the Black Mamba.
Yep.
So I'm thinking, I know her name because in the second movie, I do believe they actually give you her name.
Okay.
So as of right now, Uma Thurman, the main character, they're calling her the Bride and the Black Mamba, which is her code name. She was part of a group of assassins under one man. It's kind of like Charlie's Angels of assassins. You got Bill at the top of the hierarchy, and he hires, it seems to be only, well, I guess he has more than just women, but mostly women assassins that, they use guns and swords to kill people. And they all have code names based on snakes.
Oh shoot! I didn't even pick that up. Wow.
Yeah, all their code names, and you'll meet the rest of the group. So the beginning of the movie shows the first assassin, and what happens is the bride was killed at her own wedding by this group of assassins led by Bill. And so eventually she somehow survives and gets revenge. And so at the beginning of the very first opening scene, well, let's real quickly, the movies is around the bride, aka Black Mamba. She is out for revenge, and that's why it's called Kill Bill, because Bill is the last person on her list. She literally has a list. She's crossing people off as she goes down this list, and in true Quentin Tarantino fashion, the movie jumps a little bit. So the beginning of the movie is technically
a lot of
the
it.
end.
A lot of it.
The beginning of the movie is technically the end, and the end is the beginning. And he does like to do that a lot because, like the opening scene is Vivica A. Fox, and she is codename Copperhead, and her real name is Vernetta Green. Now this is all about, I want to say about 5 or 6 years later.
I think it's 4. I think it was 4. I think they said 4.
The bride, aka the Black Mamba, she's been in a coma. She actually survived getting her ass kicked, shot a few times, and getting shot in the head. So she survived, and she's been in a coma at the hospital. So when she awakes, her first thing is to go out and get revenge. And they show you her journey to getting revenge.
Now, hold on 1 second. Instantly, when I saw this, I thought, and she just wakes up and she knows what happened to her. She knew that they turned on her. Like, I would think someone would be foggy head, like, what happened? Who did this? Or memory loss with getting hit in the head or shot in the head or whatever. But she just kind of wakes up and just knows what to do.
Well, if you notice when she wakes up, the first thing she realizes is she replays getting shot in the head. So she grabs her head like, oh, crap. And that's kind of like a phantom wound. Because, that wound's been healed for 4 years. But that's the first thing you see her do. And then she slowly starts going over the events of what happened. And
now,
then,
do you think hospitals or a doctor or anyone would leave someone in a coma for 4 years without any type of family or anything?
No, that's what I was wondering the same thing, and I said the same thing, and my guess is no, which tells me Bill, I think, is the one keeping her alive.
Yeah, I would say Bill is keeping her alive, or that nurse that was there that was making money off of her was keeping her alive.
Well, that, but no. So there's a scene where Ellie, what's her name, with the eye patch. How is she not on this? Oh, there she is.
Beautiful blue
Ellie
eye.
Driver, the California mountain snake. That's her rival. And you'll learn more about her. She's not featured in this movie that much, but she comes in with orders from Bill to kill her via, syringe and some kind of poison or whatever for her. And Bill changes his mind. So that tells me right there that Bill is the one keeping her alive, because he says, I can't remember exactly what he says, but he's basically like, we're not going to kill somebody that survived getting shot in the head.
He said we're better than that, and we're not going to stoop that low.
Yeah. So this is, well, we can say it because during the scene where they show the wedding and everyone there was 9 people that were killed. She was pregnant, the Black Mamba was pregnant, and right before you see Bill shoot her in the head, she says the baby is yours. So this is a former lover of Bill's who has somehow wronged him because she's marrying some other guy.
So I thought she was marrying Bill.
No,
like I said,
they don't show Bill's face. She's marrying some random guy that she met right after she found out she was pregnant, I'm assuming. And she's in Texas, away from, I believe she was originally in like California or Japan or something like that.
No, I think it was California.
When she was with Bill. So she was with Bill, and now the California Mountain Snake, aka Ellie Driver, is like Bill's new girlfriend. So, because you could tell the way she talks to Bill, like she says, "Okay, honey," and she's, she wants to kill off this chick because that's her. One, she's a competitive lover, and two, I think as assassins, like they were number 1 and 2. But they'll get more into that story in number 2. So we open up with number 1, and you see it is like I said, Vivica A. Fox and Uma Thurman. They face off against each other, and they're former assassins, and they have a big battle in
Vivica's house. She went right to her house.
Yeah. So, and they're fighting, and they're breaking stuff. They get knives. They're fighting, and then all of a sudden you look outside and you see a school bus pull up, and she kind of looks over and she's really worried, and she's got a little girl that's coming in the house. So this always cracks me up because you see these. They always do something like this in these movies where they're fighting. The action's real heavy, and then they just stop fighting. Now, I don't know about you guys, but if I'm in the middle of like a life or death fight, it's going to be pretty hard for me to just stop.
Yeah.
I mean, they stop. They put the knives behind them. The whole place is jacked up.
And the little girl, the little girl's 4, right? But she seemed she didn't seem like she seemed pretty mature for a 4-year-old. That's
what I said. I don't know too many buses that a 4-year-old is taking to school. Don't you have to be 5 to be in kindergarten?
I don't. Yeah, I mean, I'm assuming so, but I don't know if kindergarten. Maybe preschoolers are getting off. I don't know.
I think if you're like 4.5, so it depends on the month, something like that. So anyhow,
so this is the way she carried herself, how she walked by herself and walked in. She just kind of just seemed like she was older than 4. But go ahead, Joe.
So she tells the little girl that they got grown up talk, and tells her to go to her room. She listens, and they sit down and have coffee with each other. They start talking, which I think is just insane. So the basic part of this conversation is they're deciding, okay, I don't want to do this here at my home. Where can we do this? So they pick a baseball field like somewhere in the neighborhood up the road, and they're going to meet at 2:00. Why she picked all black, I don't know why you got to wear all black, whatever. And, they'll finish the fight. But there's a problem because the Copperhead, she decides she's going to reach into a cereal box, getting cereal quotation marks for her daughter. But instead, she has a gun that and I don't know how you're an assassin and you miss. She had her dead to rights. Shot her, missed her, and gets a knife thrown right in her chest.
Do you think Copperhead, do you think she was married?
They said she was married.
She was.
Yeah. Do you think she told her husband that, hey, we got a gun in the cereal box? No. We're going to use it for emergencies.
No, I feel like it was one of those marriages where like she was the undercover spy and she just married to have a normal life.
Mm-hmm. The husband was a doctor because
Dr. Wooden.
Black Mamba had talked about. She did her homework. She knew about the daughter. She knew about the husband. And she was basically saying, like, I had a daughter that would be this age right about now. This could have been my life and you took it away from me. So she had no sympathy for any of that.
Right.
And who could blame her? I mean, they did her. her wrong. They did her dirty.
Right.
Well, what we come to find out is because she goes back into her truck and she crosses that name off the list, but she has another name already crossed off the list, and that is a character that we don't meet down the road, O-Rin Shu, aka the Cottonmouth, played by Lucy Liu. She has her crossed off her list already, but that battle is not till the end of the movie. So that's why I'm saying we've started this movie at the end, and technically the end is the beginning.
Yeah, I didn't understand why. Like, just give it to me straight. Like, why did you? I don't understand. Like, why jump around like this?
It's the way he likes to do things. He does this in a lot of his movies, and then he likes to bring everything together at the end.
Yeah,
I don't know why he does that. Because Pulp Fiction is the same way.
Yeah, and like I said, like it took me a while to enjoy Pulp Fiction because I just didn't get it. It just wasn't making any sense at first. But now that you know his style, I mean, I guess if you can deal with it, you got to pay attention. You can't just watch it like you're going to watch any other movie. Like you have to be paying attention.
Well, because then after this scene, she gets into a truck that obviously is not hers. Mm-hmm. And it's a lowrider.
But we didn't know that at first.
I know, but I'm saying if you look at that truck, you can say it's a lowrider truck. It's all blinged out, and it literally says Pussy Wagon on the back. There's no way that some random assassin that's their truck.
No, I honestly, I just thought maybe she was a lesbian or something. I don't know.
I mean, it's possible.
I didn't know. I really didn't. I didn't know. Like I said, man, this is Quentin Tarantino movie. You just never know what to expect, you know? So.
Well, and we do because the thing is, then from this point we go on.
Hold on, Joe. Before you continue, there's another part that's pretty important.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Go ahead. So after she ends up killing Copperhead, she turns around and the daughter's standing there. And I mean, that was a little eerie watching the daughter because the daughter wasn't crying. She wasn't screaming or anything. She was just quietly standing there. And she turns around and tells her, like, hey, you know, when you grow up, you want to come find me, you know, for revenge, you know.
That would be interesting because I have heard talks of a third movie.
I always thought they were going to come out with a third movie, and that was going to be the third movie.
It would have to be because the way the second movie ends, like this movie can't be called Kill Bill again. True. Like, I mean, and I've heard people talk about it and say in ways that
it could be Kill. It could be Kill the Black Mamba, Kill the Bride.
Yeah. It could be anything like that.
It ain't gonna be Kill the Black Mamba, and not after Kobe, because Kobe pretty much took that name and ran with it. So it ain't gonna be that. But it'll probably be Kill the Bride or something like that. That'll be good.
I'm trying to remember this correctly. Did they show the wedding after this, or did they show the hospital?
No, they showed the hospital.
Yeah, it was the hospital, then the wedding.
Yeah, because it was, and then it referenced the wedding.
Yeah, I think that's how it goes too. So. Yeah. After this scene, which is technically to me the end of the movie, we jump to where she's been, how she got where she is, and she's in the hospital. She's in a coma, and basically, the gentleman, the nurse that has been taking care of her, has more or less been pimping her out, which is kind of gross. I mean, I don't understand.
Yeah. I hated
how you can get away with something.
I hated.
Yeah, that was. You know, I mean, but I hate to say it, that's probably something that's more real than not, and that's gross. That really irritates me that people.
Yeah, not that long ago, this happened in a funeral home. Not that long ago.
Yeah, I heard in funeral homes that's like a thing.
Yeah, but it was actually women who were doing it to a dead man, and they ended up getting pregnant. Well, I think one of the women got pregnant. I'm not lying. I'm not lying, Adrian. I'm not lying.
I have so many questions. I don't even want to not hear.
It's possible. That's all I can say. Anyhow, yeah. To me, comatose or dead bodies, let them rest. Let them be in peace.
Yeah.
Leave them alone. Don't just leave them alone. Anyhow, so that's one thing. So when she wakes up, she's actually in the middle of a gentleman who paid for his time. And she straight up bites his face off and kills him. And then on top of that, she waits on the floor because she doesn't realize at first that
smart. That was smart.
She has atrophy of her legs. So she, they haven't been doing no physical therapy or nothing. So she can't walk. So she's on the ground with a knife. She cuts my man's Achilles open and then stabs him.
That was so smart.
No, she slams the door on his head a bunch of times, asking him where's Bill. Now she thinks this man works for Bill. I'm sorry. You need to look at this man a little closer. He is a nurse. He does not work for Bill.
I mean, in her defense, though. Like,
I'm just saying.
This is one of the most gruesome movies that I've seen, honestly. Like, there's a lot of gore in this movie.
That's Tarantino, man. So she kills him, and that's where she ends up getting her vehicle from this gentleman. So
the nurse.
The nurse pervert has dubbed himself the Pussy Wagon.
And the reason we know that is because it's on his keychain.
It's on his keychain, and it's on the back of his truck.
Yep.
So he thinks he's a party guy. Now, I know everybody hates this part of the movie, but I'm still going to talk about it just for a minute because I do hate it. I actually hate this part too. She is in the back of the truck. She hasn't moved in 4 years. So she gets in the back of the truck. She's going to will her legs and limbs out of atrophy.
Yep.
It's going to take a normal person. It would take like a year of physical therapy.
All she had to do was
literally. Yeah, she sits there and she says, "Wiggle your big toe, wiggle your foot." She's literally, and it said that it took her 13 hours. I'm not. I mean, I guess if I want to go kill some people, 13 hours is nothing. But sitting in the back of a truck, like telling yourself to move for 13 hours.
13 hours and nobody went. 13 hours and nobody went to his truck. I'm quite sure that
you can't even think about that. The police probably should have been there by then.
Yeah, they should have. Yes.
You're not wrong. That is a flaw. That is definitely a flaw.
They should have checked his body. Oh, his keys are gone. How did he get here? I'm quite sure everybody knew that was his vehicle. So somebody would have went and checked on his vehicle, But anyway.
So that's how she ends up, and that's her vehicle. And then we are showing what happened and how she ended up in the hospital. And this is where she was she was getting married. She had a small wedding group in Texas, and this was the wedding rehearsal. And at the wedding rehearsal, Bill comes with his posse, his assassination crew, and they kill everybody. They kill the priest's wife, they kill the bride, they kill the groom. And like I said, Bill at the end, she only gets to tell Bill that the baby's his, and he shoots her right in the head. And so after all that is done, they kind of fade out and fade in, and you see the police come in, and the police are kind of trying to figure out what happened, what's going on, and everything. And they realize that the bride is not dead. Because the guy's talking to her, calling her pretty and sweet lips or something, and she just hawks a bunch of blood at him, which is just gross. And he goes, this one's alive. So I guess she used her hate to keep herself alive, and now she's just planning her revenge until she, gets out of this coma, I guess.
Yeah.
I wonder if you can actually still think while being in. Can you plan a revenge while being in a coma, or is it just like sleeping?
I just assume it's just. I didn't even think you could even remember what was going on while you were in a coma. I just thought it was just like you were just sleeping.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah, she should have been looking for a toothbrush. I mean, after 4 years of not opening that mouth, that should have been a horrible smell right there.
Well, and like I said, if the nurse was doing their job, they're supposed to clean her up and do
Yeah, that probably was happening with that one perverted nurse. He probably was cleaning her up and doing things with her. So
just not in the right places.
Right.
So after all this, I think the next part is we're going to learn about Ocean Rue.
Yeah, and actually, the Ocean Rue part actually came right after her in the car, but it's all good.
So Ocean Rue is AKA Cottonmouth, and she was already crossed off of the list when she had killed Copperhead. Mm-hmm. So we're gonna get a background on Ocean Rue, and she ends up. Quentin Tarantino decides to show this. One, she's an Asian character. It's Lucy Liu, and two, the story has to do with her family being killed by the what's the Japanese? Yakuza. Yeah, the Yakuza, and allows Lucy Liu's character eventually to rise to the top of the Yakuza.
Now, see, when I first watched this movie, this lost me the very, very first time I saw it, because I was like, why is this movie turning? It was already weird. And why turn into a cartoon at this point?
Because they decided to show an Asian character's rise as an anime. You know what? You guys got to give me a second. My bad. I got to go plug my computer in. So riff without me for a second.
Okay, yes. No problem. So yeah, man. Go ahead, Angel.
I personally did not like. I don't like when they switch like that from anime to normal to even when they go from just normal picture to then grayscale black and white. I don't like that. I don't like it. I don't know, man. Like for me, I'm not a big. I feel like there's other movies of Tarantino that I've liked, but when he gets into movies like this, I hate them. I hate them. Like I said, like I did not like this movie for the fighting. I thought the fighting was really good. I did not like this. Like I like this. I like the martial arts in this movie. Great. In terms of like a storyline, in terms of like the effort put into the storyline, is more than any other movie we've ever watched. Like there was like true effort and like a thought process behind this movie. I just don't like his directing style, and I don't like that style of a movie. So for me, I didn't.
Tarantino considers himself an eccentric director, but also he wants to consider himself very artistic. So this is like his artistic flair. Where you're talking about at the end when he's got switching to grayscale, that's his artistic flair. You know, Gene's laughing, but Gene's an artist, so you should know. You know.
No, I'm laughing. I just seen what Angel put in our private chat.
Oh.
I just saw.
I'm sorry. I'm just saying. You said she got pregnant. It didn't make no sense, man. Like,
bro, you're obviously not a science. You're not a science teacher or anatomy. Go look it up.
Like what?
Oh crap! Keep on going. Yeah, man. But honestly, man, my major in college was television production, and we did film. So I got it because this is the type of stuff that we did. You had to be creative, and you would do different types of wipes and edits and all different types of things. And when I see things like Quentin Tarantino, I recognize, okay, this is a technique that he learned in college. You know, when you watch those student films and those independent movies, you see a lot of this type of stuff, which I'm not a fan of. I didn't like when I had to do it myself, and I just don't like this type of storytelling. Like Angel's point, like the idea of the story, I have no problem with the story. It's just how they put this movie together is what throws it off for me and makes it hard for me to enjoy the movie.
Yeah, the way he could do this movie, where he could do it straightforward and without all the extra stuff, he would literally hate himself.
Probably so, yeah.
So he has to do it this way. And so, like, yeah, it's not for everybody. And I think he knows that. Yeah, I mean, it made money. The movie made money, but you got to be a Tarantino fan and then kind of be a little extra like him.
And also, to his point, I think I've heard this before. I've heard other people say this. Like, he's known for being like the guy that's like not like the weirdo or the crazy guy, but like the guy that always is like against the grain or always does something different. Like he's known for that.
100%.
He's known for that in Hollywood. Like people say that he's like
Oh,
crazy.
if you see his interviews,
That's what I'm saying. His interviews are like nuts. Like,
he's
so
he's
he's
out
known.
there.
He's known. Like you could tell. Like he thinks so differently, and not in a bad way. His thought process of how a movie should go is so different from everyone else's. And also, and you know, that can also be part of it. Like we're just used to like a normal style of a movie, and this is a bit different. But I think it's just like I said, man. Just all the flashbacks, the way it jumps around. I'm just not a fan of his directing style. But that has no. I'm not saying like the movie as a whole and based like the movie on its own merit is actually a good movie. Like if it was done, let's say like in just like a sequential form, I probably would really enjoy it. It was actually pretty good. You know, and this fight scenes and all the scenes were actually pretty spot on.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
go ahead, Joe.
They get a little crazy, but so her basic story is the Yakuza leader shows up, kills her parents in front of her. Literally, she's under the bed watching them die. She gets her revenge at 11 of all ages. She starts her assassination career by killing the man who killed her parents. And then what do they say? They go forward, and I guess by age 20, she was like the top assassin in the world. And so she rise through the ranks of being an assassin and then rise to the top of the Yakuza and had her own gang called the Crazy 88s or something like that. And so they get off of her story, and we come back to, I want to say, Japan. And I did get confused for a second here, but then I realized because I hadn't seen this in a while. So again, we're back to the bride, aka the Black Mamba, and she is in Japan pretending to be a tourist at like a little sushi shop. I'm assuming it is, and she's kind of pretending to be a dizzy blonde who's flirting with the gentleman. She's pretending like she doesn't know how to speak any Japanese. She only knows a couple words. And so she's getting food, she's getting tea, he's enjoying talking to her, trying to teach her more Japanese. And then we realize the second the gentleman asks her why she's here, she tells him in perfect Japanese, I might say, she's looking for Japanese steel. And that got his attention because Japanese steel is basically, I'm looking for a sword of death.
How'd you know that?
And
I'm not surprised he knew, honestly.
How'd you know that? I didn't even know that.
Because you didn't know that?
No, I swear to God. For this whole time, I thought Japanese steel was like a code word or something for like.
No, Japanese steel is a code word for you're looking for a sword to kill people with. Not just a sword. You're looking for a sword that you're looking to kill people with. That's all. That's in all the kung fu movies, man. You want some Japanese steel, you're like a serious. You're a samurai or someone like an assassin.
So if I ever go to Japan, I shouldn't say that, huh?
I mean, you know, you might not want to say it exactly like that. Maybe you say, "Hey, you got a sword I can play with?" So what we come to find out is this gentleman, I believe they call it his Hanzo Tanaka. I believe that's the name. Hatiro Hanzo. And he is the top swordsman, and he was the one who was making all the swords for Bill's assassins. And he has since retired. So, like I said, when she asked for Japanese steel, she catches his attention. And he basically says, what do you need it for? And she says, I got vermin to kill. And he said, there's some pretty big vermin if you need, my Japanese steel. And she basically says, well, the problem is the vermin is one of your former students. So apparently this man is the one that taught Bill. This is Bill's sensei. So he knows the story of what happened to her. And so he knows he kind of owes her. So he takes her upstairs. He's literally got 25 swords. and he tells her those are all for show. He doesn't make weapons of death anymore. And she says, well, he needs to come out of retirement and make one more sword for her. And I guess that was enough convincing because he did. And he said not to brag, but this is my finest sword I've ever made. And that's going to come to play in the second movie more so than in this movie.
Okay. Okay. What's up with that guy, that little guy that was working for him? Like they just feel like throwing in some comedy or something.
Yeah, I think it was his assistant. I think they were really trying to play up the fact that he was nobody special and he just wanted to run his restaurant. So she kind of came in and threw a monkey wrench in that. Because the second that they got upstairs and they were dealing with the sword, that guy wasn't silly anymore.
Right. Okay.
He was, they were sitting there passing the sword. They all had the little white gis on. It was a little interesting. So after she gets her sword, now she heads to did she stay in Japan or she head to California? I'm not exactly
sure. It was California. Oh no, probably.
Let me see. Hold on 1 second.
I couldn't remember if it was Japan or California.
Or was it Miami? Anyhow, it's not important.
No,
she's traveling. She's traveling, and she's gonna go find. So she's going to find Lucy Liu's character.
Tokyo.
Oh, it is Tokyo. Okay, so she's going to find Ashuren, and so Ashuren has another.
They literally they show her on the plane with the sword.
Yes. And walking off with the sword.
How'd you get
that? That's not happening. That's not happening. And I know this movie came out post 9/11, right?
2003.
Yeah,
ain't no way. Ain't no way you walking on a plane, sitting on a plane with a sword. Nah.
So there's two people. They're at a club. And one is Ocean Ren, and the other, I cannot think of her name, but she's a French woman, and she works for and with Ocean Ren. And she was also a part of the assassins that killed her. Go ahead, Angel.
Was that Anne Hathaway, or was I just seeing things?
You'd have to look it up, because I'm not sure.
I'll look. I thought it was Anne Hathaway. It looked like her. I was like, oh, shoot, they got the Devil Wears Prada in here.
Is it... Oh, you know who it was? No, it was Julie Dreyfus as Sophie Fatale. Sophie Fatale.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that's who it was. And then what was the one that was with her? Go-Go, the young girl, the crazy chick, her bodyguard. So Lucy Liu has.
I know what you're talking about, but I'm not sure. I don't know.
Yeah, I think her name was Go-Go.
Okay.
So she has a bodyguard that's 17 and crazy. And then she has the business partner, who's the French woman, who was also a part of the group that tried to kill the Black Mamba. Anyhow, so our last scene is we're at a nightclub. There's drinking. There's music. The Black Mamba calls out Cottonmouth and tells her they got unfinished business. And she had just got the French lady from the bathroom. And she literally, after calling out Cottonmouth, she cuts the French lady's arm off. And blood spurting everywhere. People are running everywhere. And Cottonmouth sends just a small portion of her group, the Crazy 88, out. Because they're not all there yet. So, what was there? Maybe 15 people? With weapons, and she cut them all down pretty quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Did you notice? Wait, hold on. I'm sorry. Time out. Did you notice
go ahead.
Did you notice how much Bruce Lee influence was there in that scene?
Yep. Just so the jumpsuit.
The jumpsuit, and then she had them dressed like Kano.
I didn't even peep that out. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, the Crazy 88 were all dressed like Kano.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm almost positive Tarantino is a huge Bruce Lee fan.
He is. He's a huge Bruce Lee fan. He just made that. He was the one that made that movie about Bruce Lee not too long ago.
Well, Bruce Lee was in the movie. And I don't think Bruce Lee's daughter liked it. The movie.
No, because they painted Bruce Lee as like he got his ass kicked in one fight.
No, not just that. I mean, they were making Bruce Lee seem like he was he was braggadocious, and all of that. And I'm not sure if he was really like that or not. But
I've seen some older interviews. He seems like he's pretty braggadocious.
I've heard from like watching from that movie. I heard there was like some stuff that like there may have been some truth to it. Now the exaggeration that Quentin Tarantino put on it could have been a bit much for the movie sense, but like some things were true or some things did happen. So
okay,
yeah. Now this part of the movie, I do like this fight scene, but my favorite scene I think is when she fights Go-Go, because Go-Go has like this ball. It's got spikes. It's got a saw, some kind of, and she's swinging it around. And she gives the Black Mamba a run for her money. She definitely, she's got her on the ropes a couple times. And she does eventually take her out and kill her. She goes after Cottonmouth, but all of a sudden you hear a bunch of roaring engines and the rest of the Crazy 88 show up. And there's over 80 people running around this place, flying at her with swords. Granted, I don't care if you're the greatest warrior on the planet. You're not taking out that many people with weapons.
Yeah. No. And then all of a sudden the film goes to black and white.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Now that was kind of painting an homage to like your old style kung fu, Bruce Lee versus Chuck Norris kind of movies. I mean, I get why he did it. I don't necessarily. I could take it or leave it. It didn't bother me. It didn't take away from the movie for me. But I get why it did for you.
Did you like her rolling around on the floor, cutting everybody's legs off?
I thought it was interesting. That's the only way you're gonna win that fight.
I'm surprised she just didn't get stomped out.
I know. But I will say this though. You know my favorite line of the whole movie? Mm. So she's just basically cut everybody down. Mm-hmm. They're all jacked up on the floor. She tells everybody, if you're still alive, leave your limbs behind. They now belong to me. And leave with your lives. I mean, that's basically, it's just like, no, you don't pick up your leg. Don't pick up your arm. You're not getting this. Those are mine now. If you want to leave with your life, get the hell out of here. Otherwise, you're dead. That cracked me up. I mean, literally, you're like, this is my arm. What are you going to do with all those arms?
I would have left. I would have left.
You're gonna make a necklace or something. So then it's the final showdown between the Black Mamba and Cottonmouth. It was a short fight. I thought for the final fight it would have been a little bit more. But I will say with a sword fight, they're not supposed to last long anyway. So I guess that's basically what they're trying to tell us. Because I think maybe 4 or 5 sword clashes and that fight was over. And the movie pretty much kind of ends right there. She kind of goes her own way, and she's we're waiting for the second movie and kind of see where she goes next to pursue Bill. Because Bill, I know, is her final target.
Right. And what does Bill say? Somebody said something. I'm assuming it was Bill.
Yeah, it probably was, but I don't remember what he said.
I'm talking about the child. The child wasn't. We're led to believe the child wasn't dead or wasn't.
Oh yes, you're right. Yes, yeah. He said she'll come to me because I have something she wants.
Right,
and that's right. Yep, I forgot about that, and that does play a role in the second movie. I really like this movie. I know you guys hate it. It's not like my over the top. I won't give it an A, but I'll definitely give it a hard B.
I have 2 grades for it, so I have 2 grades.
Man, just give it a grade, Mr. A+.
Oh, I got 2 grades. Because you know what, man? Like I actually, like I said, like I think like taking out looking at the movie and just in terms of like the martial arts scenes, like the plot, the story, like I would give it like a B, like how you said, like a B-, B, because it's one of the more the better movies that we've watched. That's actually a true martial arts movie. It actually is one of the better ones that we've watched. And like I said, just like in terms of just like for his directing style, I just give it just a C, and the way he just puts it all together. But that's just like my personal opinion. But like in terms of like the martial arts movies we've actually watched, this is one of like the true like real martial arts movies, and it's actually really good. Like in that sense. So like I give it, like I could see why you like it, Joe. And to be honest with you, Kill Bill 2 is way more action packed than in this one.
Well, and it is, but there's also a lot more story in the second one.
But yeah, but like the action is action. Like it's I don't know. They get to it quicker, it seems like, because they got to get through more people.
They do, and we'll talk about it in the next one. But two of my favorite scenes in probably just about any movie ever.
Okay. I have a favorite scene in Kill Bill 2. I have one. So
actually, it might be 3 of my favorite. Anyhow, go ahead.
What did you give it, Joe? What did you give this movie?
I'm giving it a solid B.
Angel, what did you say? A B and a C?
Yeah, I said a B and a C because I think that's I can see why Joe would say B. I can completely agree with that.
Story wise, I don't mind the story. I mean, yeah, I'm kind of like you. I would give it a B if it was based upon just the story, but I ain't doing it. Just all the extra stuff that went along with this movie, man. It kind of took me out of it. So if I have to give it a grade, I have to give it a C minus.
That's fair.
When it comes to these, when it comes to these creative movies like this, like I have to know that going in that it's going to be jumping around or whatever, so I can prepare myself. Like The Matrix. When I first saw The Matrix, man, I did not like that movie at all because it was all over the place. I didn't understand it when I first saw it. I did not understand it. I literally have to watch that movie 3 or 4 times, and then I was like, "Oh, okay, so this would that mean?" You know, but this movie, maybe if I watch it 3 or 4 more times, I might like it. It might make sense, but I ain't got that much time to do that.
You might like the second one better.
So now that you know that Kill Bill 2 is going to be like this, will it get a better grade from you or no?
Will Kill Bill 2 get a better grade than this one?
Yeah, because you know that going into it. You just said that.
I don't know because it's still Quentin Tarantino in his style of doing movies. I just don't like. I just don't like his style.
I think the second one. I think we're all gonna like it better.
Okay, I hope so.
I'm gonna,
like me personally.
I know why.
I like the second one better than the first one. I liked it, but the second one better than the first one. And I don't like the Kill Bill series. Like I'm not a fan of it. But if I had to pick, I'm watching the second one.
Okay. You know, there is a movie that I like that's associated with Quentin Tarantino. It's called 4 Rooms. And they got 4 different directors directed this movie. And each director had their own room. Did you guys ever see that movie?
Yes, I did.
Okay, so I like that movie. And I liked Quentin Tarantino's room that he directed. I have no problem. He's actually starring in his room. Him and I think
He's normally in all his movies.
Yeah,
this is one that he's not. I don't think he's in at all.
What the hell is he gonna do?
Quick.
Like
who knows? Who knows? He might be a getaway driver or something. Who knows?
He's usually a guy that just gets killed right off the bat.
Yeah. Bruce Willis is also in that movie. And there's a couple other people. Tim Roth is in it, so it's not bad. So, all right, you guys got anything else for this movie?
Hey, I don't have nothing for this movie, but I actually got a question really quick. I know I'm thinking like super far ahead, but I just want to know if when Blade comes out for Marvel, are we watching that? Does that count?
We saw the other one. We might, or the ones we might as well.
Okay. No. I'm just asking because like
we saw Shang-Chi. We saw Shang-Chi. So
Shang-Chi that was like martial arts. Like we know that, but I'm saying like you think the Blade is gonna be martial arts? I feel like they wouldn't have it be like the first one.
I don't know. Only reason I'm saying I don't know is because the character of Blade, I don't know if he was a martial artist. I don't remember him being a martial artist, and I think they made it a martial arts movie only because Wesley Snipes is a martial artist and was in the movie.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but we can talk about it and see.
Yeah, I feel like this new Blade, he's gonna have more sword and like shooting, and it's gonna be more killing in that sense.
Probably so.
But I sorry, it was just a quick thought. I just thought about that now.
Okay. You know what I want to do? This is what I do want to do. So in a few weeks, guys, we're going to be at episode 100 for Fist Kicks and Flicks. what I want to do is I want to do it live. I want to do it live. I want to do it with drinks. Angel, I know you don't drink. I want to make sure that Mike is here for episode 100. And I want to do it live. I'm going to talk to Trav about it. Us broadcasting live on Facebook for the whole hour. And have people comment on it and just have some fun with whatever movie that is. I don't know. It got to be a good movie, though.
So one, I would be down for that, but I'm pretty sure we got banned from going live. So I don't know how we're gonna.
I don't know. I'll talk with Trav about it. Even if we got to do it on YouTube, we can do it on YouTube and just have people. We just promote it on Facebook or Instagram or whatever, letting people know that we're gonna be live on YouTube.
Yeah, we could.
I don't know. We got some fun,
Joe, that's where you gotta make sure you don't say nothing wild, bro. Well,
I'll say whatever I want.
Us having drinks, and Mike. Hopefully, Mike will be on it too. Like we gonna say some wild shit. I already know. All right, everybody, stay safe, stay strong, and we'll holler at you guys next week. And I will play our music.
Disaster must come. At best, only postponed. Shaolin Kung Fu, to survive, must now be taught to more young men.